This segment is an introduction video to Cherokee crafts and designed to offer the basic steps in craft making. The following video is presented as a service to various communities, schools, and organizations in hopes of perpetuating Cherokee culture.
OCO, my name is Shanista and I'm going to tell you about Cherokee Stickball. Cherokees, as well as many other tribes in the eastern part of the country, played a game called Stickball. Many tribes had different versions, but Cherokees had a version played with 2 sticks, with hoops at both ends, and a small ball. The original game of Stickball was called Ani Jodi, meaning the little brother of war. It was called that because it was used as an alternative to going to battle. It was used as a way to settle disputes between other tribes and villages. It was played on a large open field similar to a modern football field with 2 goalposts at either end. It was played to score points. You scored a point by getting the small leather ball through those posts at the end of the field. Games could last for days and had many team players on either side. The game could be very brutal and could often result in serious injury and an occasional death, but it was still far preferable to going to battle and losing half of your tribe. The modern game is what's called a social game. The original game was played only by men. The modern social game can also be played by women. Of course, women aren't allowed to use the sticks. Women use their hands, and they can get very rough. They can throw the guys to the ground, they can take their sticks away, they can push and they can shove, but the guys, they can't do anything about it. They have to be very respectful of the women. Stickball is still a popular game in many communities across the Cherokee Nation. What you'll be making is a small pair of stickball sticks that will look something similar to these. In your kit, you will have 2 sticks like this. These sticks will need to soak in water overnight to make them pliable, to be able to bend and manipulate to make into the sticks. Also in your kit, you will have 2 bundles of sinew, 1 long bundle with 2 pieces, and 1 short bundle with 4 pieces. You will also need a pair of scissors to work on your project. You're going to start by taking your short pieces of sinew, and you're just going to untie that knot at the top and separate all 4 pieces. You're going to set 2 of those pieces aside. I'm just going to lay these over my leg. Now you're going to take one of your sticks and gently bring the ends together to form a teardrop. You're going to wrap your hand around the ends of the sticks like this, with your thumb pointed up toward the ends of the sticks. You don't want to be able to see any light between your sticks. You'll have about an inch gap between your thumb and the top here. Now you're going to take one of your pieces of sinew. You're going to put it under your thumb, and you want to leave about 3 or 4 inches hanging off to the side. This is a little tail. Then you'll take the long piece of sinew and you're going to wrap it around really, really tight as you can get it. Wrap it all the way around until you've got about 3 or 4 inches on the other side. Now that you've wrapped it really tight, you can let go. And you're going to take these 2 ends and you're going to tie about 4 or 5 good tight knots. So there's our first knot. Okay. Now we're going to tie off the next part, and this is going to form the hoop of our stick. So once again, you're going to put your hand around the stick. You're going to have the end of your thumb pointed up toward the top. You're going to take your other piece of sinew and tuck it under your thumb, and you're going to leave that tail and wrap it around really tight. And you're going to take the two ends and tie about 4 or 5 good knots again. And there's our second knot. Once you've made it to this step, you can stop the video. You can take your other stick and tie your knots in the very same way. We want to work on both sticks at the same time, that way we can make sure that the hoops are matched up in size. Now your hoops may not quite be the same shape, so at this point you can shape them a little bit. So we're just going to gently widen this out a little. That way we can get it to match the other hoop. Now we're going to set one aside, and we're going to trim off these strings. We don't want to trim too close to the knot because then our knots can come untied. So we're going to leave a little bit hanging, just like that. So now you're going to take your long pieces of sinew, you're going to untie them, and you should have 2 pieces in this bundle. These pieces are going to form the net. So you only want one for now. We'll set the other one aside. You're going to take these 2 pieces. You're going to take this one piece. You're going to bring the ends together. That way you have 2 ends up here and you have a loop down here. Now you'll take the ends, you'll put them through the hoop of your stick, and you'll grab the loop on the other side, and your stick will just dangle in between. Now you're going to take the ends, you're going to reach over and grab the ends like this, and then you're just going to let it drop, just to form a simple slip knot. You're going to grab this whole thing and kind of hold it like a slingshot, pull it tight, and that will get your knot on one side of the hoop or the other. Wherever that knot ends up, that's the side where all of our knots are going to be. Now we're ready to form the net in our sticks. So to show you how to form the net, I'm going to use this big example I have to make it a little easier to see. We're going to take these 2 strings and we're just going to separate them. Now we want to guess about where the middle of our hoop is going to be. I'm guessing it's right about here. So I want this first knot to be right about there, just above the middle line. So I'm going to reach over here and I'm going to hold on to that with my thumb. And now notice this shape right here, this half moon shape. That's what we want to look for right here. So we're going to take our piece of string, we're going to go around behind the hoop, we're going to go back through that half moon shape right there. Now there's this that's hanging down below. So we're going to take our string, we're going to go back down again and bring that back up through that loop that's hanging, and we're going to pull it tight. And you can wiggle it up and down a little bit to make sure it's tight, just like that. So now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to take the end of our string and go behind and back through that loop. Now we're going to go down and back up through this loop here, and we're going to pull it tight. And you can wiggle it up and down to get it nice and tight on your sticks. Now we're going to take these 2 pieces of string and we're going to cross them. and make an X. And we're going to do the same knot all over again, but now our shapes have changed. So instead of that half moon, now we have a triangle. So I'm going to reach across and hold it where I want it. I'm going to take the end of the string and go behind and back through that triangle. Then I'm going to go down and back up through this loop and pull it tight. And again, you can wiggle it and get it good and tight. Now do the same thing on the opposite side. Now we're going to cross these two strings one more time, but we're not going to make any of those knots anymore. We're going to make one more X. Then you're going to take one piece of your string and you're going to wrap it around a couple of times. You're going to take the other piece and you're going to wrap it around the opposite way a couple of times. And then you're just going to tie those together. Once again, you're going to make about 4 or 5 good knots. And that's going to finish off the net in one of your sticks. So once you have your net tied on one stick, you can do the same to your other stick, and you'll have a pair of mini stickball sticks.
Wado for your time to learn about Cherokee culture and history. Share what you learned today with someone else. For more information, contact Cherokee Nation Education Services Cultural Resource Center at education@cherokee.org or 918-453-5000 and ask for education services.